Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Coach Les, and I'm here with SUJATA, the author of Against All Odds. And we are here today on 9 different social media sites, 5 on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Clubhouse. And we are here to discuss just everyday life topics that have to do with some of the topics inside of her book. She is an author of this Against All Odds, which is the legal life manual. Do you live in the jungle with animals or live in civilized society? If in the latter, this book is for you. Are you a victim or a survivor? Survive and protect yourself from gender discrimination, culture biases, belittling within home, educational to professional workplace, mental, verbal, physical, emotional, exploitational, rape, and all kinds of sexual abuse. Trapped or stifled in an unhappy marriage, parent-child discord, years of working with bad bosses, compromised on a daily basis. Are you a prisoner of the moment? Do you want to run away? Feel suicidal? Politics of the universe? Society? Don't let it shackle you. When you are pushed to the wall, push back. When you have nothing to lose, then give yourself that one chance and take a courageous step. Don't give up. It's hard. Very hard, but courage and self-belief will open doors. Gather inspiration from my journey and trust me, you can do it. All of us can be leaders. All we have to do is nudge that dormant factor. Giving in is easy. Tenacity and resilience are words to describe that one moment when you decide to take action, even if it is swimming against the tide or against all odds. No matter what the problem, SUJATA is your partner to overcome the challenge and turn it into a stepping stone to progress. Leaders walk the talk and should be accessible to make a difference in people's lives. Money cannot do that. Care can. Do you care for yourself or others? SUJATA cares for others. No retakes, no manuals, real life lessons. And that is the book that she will be filtering her conversations through. And then I am filtering my conversations through my fun and wild and crazy life and all of the experiences that I have had. I've been a coach for 20 years and been an entrepreneur for solopreneur for 7 years. I was an entrepreneur as a partner for 3 years prior to that, and had the privilege and honor of having a partner have 51% and boot me out of the company, leaving me in the gutter. And I've had a lot of learning experiences, things I can tell you, a lot of things not to do because I did them and they were not the right thing to do. And I trusted where my attorneys advised me not to, and I didn't take their advice. Well, you live and learn, and I got a PhD in learning fast in 3 years. So between the two of us, we are here, and today our topic is going to be on what is it to have somebody that is enrolled by what you do. For some, if we look up the dictionary definition of that word, to enroll somebody, it's a very interesting word to look at. It means officially register as a member of an institution or a student on a course, to recruit, to perform a service, enter among the rolls of a court of justice. Enroll lets you take quick usability tests. And it's, enrollment. Let's take a look at that word. I was going to do that first, but I think it was good that we did it second. The action of enrolling or being enrolled, the number of people enrolled at a college or student. And the interesting thing about this word is it doesn't talk about how it's done and the power of actual enrollment and what it looks like to be a powerful person at enrolling somebody in doing something. Because it's not force, it's not cajoling, it's not bending somebody's arm, it's not selling them like a snake oil salesperson. It's actually having them see the possibility that you have created for them and see it so that they can own it and then move forward. And there's a lot more to it. But with that, I'm going to just pass the microphone over to Sujata and have her say hello. She's not on video today due to some of the internet issues in Singapore. Therefore, you'll see her smiling face in the middle of a circle if you look online. But she is here, and she is also on Clubhouse, and we'll be ending the live stream online a little bit early today, about 20 after 5, and then staying on Clubhouse for probably another 15 to 30 minutes. So just to let people know the scheduled events. And tomorrow we will not be doing our podcast tomorrow afternoon, as I have an event in St. Paul, Minnesota that will span the entire time of our podcast time. And we'll look and see what time we can make up that podcast, and we'll be in communication with you. So with that, I hand the microphone to you, Sujata.
Thank you, Coach Les. And I'm looking forward to this conversation because I see some lovely, discerning people on stage. Sulena is there, Colleen is there, Wade is there, and of course, Janet is there. And even in the audience, I see Harold and Tina. Yes, Tina. So I think this will be a good conversation because it also depends on who comes in to talk with us on these topics, which are thought provoking. And I just love that. And enrollment is not about, as you rightly defined it, is not about being forced or coerced into something, but it is to actually offer a differing perspective if it resonates or inspires you. I like that. Over to you.
Sujata, you have to speak a little more than 30 seconds.
Well, something, there's some people say that I speak very
No,
little.
that's on Clubhouse. We're on nice try. We're on live streaming, and this is half your show and half mine.
Yeah, so it is
There you
half my show, but what I'm trying to say is that, it's also about listening from others' perspective, because the essence of enrollment, if we look at it closely, is about offering a different perspective. And I always say that a differing perspective is necessary if you want to even make people think. When you're in the box, you just go, in a structured manner and think that there is no other dimension to anything, any topic, and anything in life. That's not true. So if you are open for that, you have to have a mindset which is open for differing views, differing perspectives, without getting het up or without getting upset, and you are willing to listen. Then you might think, okay, I can approach this situation or this topic in a different manner. I can think about it. It forces your thinking cap on. And if you do that, you might come up with something which you never thought of doing before. And it could be a creative thing, it could be a sensitive matter, it could be even when you're seeking justice. There are many things in life that you can think about differently instead of what society has always told you to do. Does that make more than 30 seconds of wisdom?
It does. It does. I think so. I can't wait to hear what other people on the stage have to share now that we've opened the corner of Pandora's box to listen to. So with that, I would love to hear people's conversation about enrollment before I pick up the mic and chat about it. We'll pass the mic to you, Selena, first.
I am on the road, so there's going to be way too much road noise.
Mm-mm.
So go on.
You sound
How
perfect.
am I sounding?
You
I'm
sound
sounding fine?
oh,
Okay.
beautiful.
Yeah, okay, so then I will definitely engage in conversation then. So thank you so much for inviting me to the stage and allowing me to share the space. And I can say definitely, as you know, if we're gonna walk down that road of enrollment, then I feel like that in itself, then we cannot necessarily be conforming to the standard way of doing things, right? I feel like this is an opportunity to actually do and more or less model what enrollment means, right? Enrollment is really adding so much value that there's no convincing, right? It's just that I've added so much value to the situation or your life or the circumstances that you are willing to take that dance with me. And that doesn't have to conform to any normal way of doing things, right? We are pretty much, put it like this, dancing to our own drum beat. No one is dictating the pace. So that's my input, and I yield the mic.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oops. There we go. Well, so I've started a conversation in the room chat, and we'll see how it goes from there. I didn't quite complete it, but I popped the first part of it out there. So with that, I'm going to go to Colleen. Hi, Colleen. How are you tonight?
Hi, I'm fine. I guess the way I would think of enrollment is in terms of my music.
Oh, yes.
I'm a musician
Very good.
and songwriter, and I'm in the process of putting out some new music on streaming platforms. And so what I'm hoping to do is build a following. And one of the ways I'm doing that is we have a venue here where I live that has a live open mic every Friday night. And so I am doing that as often as I can to try and build a local following. And, putting out information on Instagram and Facebook about the music that is going to be released soon. So I'm basically offering a chance for people to hear my music, and hopefully they will enjoy it.
I love it. Well, thank you for sharing that. What style of music do you play?
The answer to that is yes.
I love it.
I play a number of different styles. And like, for instance, I write orchestral cinematic music for soundtrack, hoping to get music into film and TV. But I also do like singer-songwriter type of, pop music. And that's what I'm putting out on the streaming platforms.
I love it. My one experience with your industry is a friend of mine in California, in Los Angeles. I was in a training and development seminar, and he lives out there, and he was in the same seminar, and he had been doing the songwriting and backup to movies, and writing the sound as you were saying. And he said he was sharing one day, he was sharing with a group, and I was in the group, that the thing that he loved the most about it, once he started to get successful, he would come home and find checks in his mailbox from Germany, from Sweden, from Norway, from all these musical companies around the world, that would use his music and send him a royalty check. And I thought, what a great deal. And he goes, Les, it took me 15 years to get to this point. But he would come home sometimes and there'd be a check for $5,000 because they wanted to use his music every day in a commercial for a year. So I hear you share that, Colleen, and I think of that, and I'm like, well, that's what I pray for you.
Thank you. That's what I'm hoping to achieve. I've only been at it for a couple of years, but hopefully within a few years I'll have some success at it.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, Brother Wade, what is your conversation about enrollment? Hey, Wade, we can't hear you. Hello, Wade? I don't know what you're doing with the microphone, but it's...
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Okay, I was trying out to set up earbuds, but apparently the microphone don't work. As I was saying, I actually need to learn about enrollment because I need enrollment. And when I think about enrollment, is it similar to onboarding, or is onboarding a part of enrollment? Just a thought that popped into my mind. This end of being a solopreneur is the part actually need a lot of help in. So I'm going to do a lot more listening and hope I can learn from everyone else. Thank you.
All right. Appreciate that, Wade. And with that, I pass the mic over to Jeanette.
Hey, everybody. I just took a break from working. And so enrollment, when I think of enrollment, I think of something that's voluntary. Did you volunteer me for something, Coach Luff? Am I supposed to go somewhere? I'm just kidding.
Yes.
But
I volunteered you. I volunteered you for the Bible study.
oh, I always give into that. Of course, I enroll in that all the time. There's this thing about enrollment. It's voluntary, but yet you look at it as a way to either grow and learn because you're putting yourself out into something that you want to grow in. That's how I look at enrollment. It could be, you look at the different things that people enroll in. They look at Coach Les and SUJATA. They enrolled in doing this podcast, and here we are sharing. I look at it as growth. When I think of enrollment, it's something that I voluntarily do to that I know that I'm going to have some self-improvement. I'm going to have some personal growth. That's how I look at enrollment. It's a choice. And with that, that's my share.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeanette. And welcome, Harold. Welcome, Fitzum. And welcome, Heron. Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. If you would like to come up and be on stage, you do have a choice. There we go. So here's, if you look at what I wrote in the room chat, which is the lower left circle, you see that I am stealing a definition from a personal training and development company that I used to work for. And it's out on the internet, so I'm not putting any proprietary stuff out there. Enrollment is causing a new possibility for another, such that they are touched, moved, and inspired. And then what I didn't write was by that possibility. And for me, the enrollment is so pure at its finest form that there is no cajoling, there's no pressure, there's no nothing along those likes, because the person that is being enrolled, the people that are being enrolled, are so present to this exciting possibility that they can't wait to have ownership in whatever it is. And for me, I think with that piece, so many salespeople sell or try to sell, and I'm using that word try on purpose, without enrollment present, without getting somebody excited about what it is that they're sharing or putting on the table. And I think this is a huge detriment, for the simple fact that then people wonder why it's tough. How come selling is so hard? How come I'm not able to do X, Y, and Z, and blah, 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 blah. And all of that is excuse me, a very sad shame. Because once a salesperson understands what it is to have conversations that are enrolling, getting other people inspired, sales becomes super easy. And, some of these things, although being super easy, some of these things require removing the old walls that are already there, setting them aside, dealing with whatever needs to be dealt with, and then moving forward and creating that possibility. So for me, I'm going to use my example, and then I think it would be fun for all of us to share an example of how we've enrolled somebody in our world in recent times. So we can actually start to see how, because I could tell you, when you start to have a room of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people or so, after that it gets a little muddy, but that are all doing the X and the services for people. When enrollment is present, life is simpler, it's faster, it's easier. So with that, I think to take an approach on this, for me, it's with coaching, right? So people ask and want to be, of course, everybody wants to be enrolled in coaching. Why have a coach? So the first question that I always ask everybody is if they've had a coach before. If they haven't had a coach, have they seen how professional coaches work? And of course, the answer is always yes, 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 yes. I watch this sport, I watch that sport, blah, 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 blah. I watch the coaches. Some of them are jerks. Some of them are great, so on and so forth. I'm like, okay, great. What is a coach there for? Well, in a very basic and roundabout way, a coach is there to see you as the winner that you are, and then move everything out of the way that isn't the winner. All the stories, all the upsets, all the fears, all the frustrations, all of the non-exercised or non-stretched enough, move it all to be able to then let that light bulb shine from within and the person that the coach is coaching grows and blossoms and becomes a big deal. Now, if the client is not enrolled by the coach, it doesn't go well. It becomes a fight. It becomes a fight for who's in control and who's going to win. And the minute you step into pressure, step into defense, step into anything other than authentically being that coaching person, you start to push people away. You're no longer interested in their world, no longer interested in what makes them tick. So, to me, coaching is a very pure example of enrollment because it's my job to create that they see that working with me is going to present this set of opportunities for them to step into. Once they've stepped into it, for them to go, oh, I can't live without you. When can I start? And that's the ultimate goal. It's the ultimate thing that a client can say to the coach. So I'd love to hear from some of you up on stage here. Again, Sujata, what is your thoughts about this?
So when we talk of enrollment, but in a non-linear way of thinking, this is exactly what it is, that you don't try to hard sell or convince somebody of what they require or need. You present it in a manner where they see the wisdom and the value of what you're offering to them, which goes beyond the economic or financial aspect of it. Like, for example, if I give an example, it's very simple. When I say that I'm a life mentor, how did I reach that? It was through writing my book. Now, there are many people who get inspired to write books or to, take lessons out of my story on how to deal with situations. And for me, whether they acknowledge or give credit or not is not the important thing. The important thing is that I wanted to offer my wisdom. And for those who wish to engage with me and come back to me to learn from me, that is key. The reason why we have this podcast is also another example that we are offering to people that look, we show up on time every time on certain days of the week. And if you wish to learn or to take something that we are offering, then please exercise your choice out of a free will and not out of, that, oh, you have to do this. And no, you don't have to do anything. And you can just come and listen. And if it resonates with you, then you engage with us. If it doesn't, then you don't. And I yield my mic.
All right, we're coming to you, Selena.
Come on down. So this is my, I guess, analogy as far as enrollment. I look at it as, let's say, enrollment is kind of, look at it through the lenses of a relationship, right? So enrollment would be marriage. However, there is, the dating, right? And then the courting, and you're adding value within that time as you're engaging with each other, right? You're seeing each other in the different seasons, different situations, that type of stuff. So when you finally decide to take that final step as far as marriage, because you see the value that each other is bringing to the table, then it's so easy to take that step and move forward with marriage, because one, you see the benefits of creating that union, but you also see all of the value that you both are bringing to the table to make that union a beautiful thing. So that's how I see enrollment. I yield the mic.
Yes, that was a good share, Selena. I will just add to it. Um, in any kind of relationship, if there is, where we try to control each other, or we try to, you know, make the other person the way we want to, then it doesn't go down well. Because the best form of any relationship is where two different people with two different characters support each other and allow each other to grow to their maximum potential. So it's not like, okay, now that after the courtship we have got married, and now you become like this, the way I want you to become. That should not be the case. Then it's most likely to end up in a divorce. And even if you don't divorce, people live a lifetime of unhappiness in a toxic relationship. I just wanted to add that perspective. And we can hear what Colleen has to say about it, and then Wade and Janet.
Well, since one of my goals is to get music into film and TV, one of the things I need to do is develop relationships with music supervisors and music. What's the word I'm looking for? Like representatives, people who can represent my music to the music supervisors. And I have found Clubhouse to be a really excellent way of doing that. I have met many supervisors, and it's just a matter of talking with them, letting them get to know me, letting them hear my music, because there are several rooms where we're allowed to share music. And a couple of times I've had a filmmaker approach me after hearing some of my music and say, I definitely want you to write a score for my film. I've written part of the score for a student short film from India, and that came about in exactly that way. I just shared a piece of music, and they asked me to write a score for part of their film. So, it's I'm not trying to sell anything or cajole anyone into anything. I'm just trying to get to know them, let them get to know me, and let them get to know my music and what I can do. And that is my method of enrollment.
Wonderful. Share. So, Wade, you're up next.
Thank you, Sujata. When what's coming to mind as an example would be when you train a horse. So when you do horse training, or animal training in general, when you train a dog, you're actually asking the dog for them to trust you. You're asking for their cooperation. And I like what Sulina said about it's a relationship. And the way I'm seeing enrollment, perhaps even where I still struggle some, is is working on those relationships. Seems to be maybe where I'm stuck sometimes, because I'm a storyteller and I like to talk, but the exception to that is in a relationship, there's a conversation, and especially as a coach, you do more asking and listening than talking. And perhaps I still do too much talking. So that's my example, though, is to think about like training an animal, that you help them to trust you, get a good sense that they have a safe environment to be in, somewhere where they can share how they're feeling, their thoughts, and what's going on in their life. And I've always liked to start most relationships sharing gratitude, because I find as the foundation, just enrolling people into gratitude. So I'm going to land there. I'm interested to see what others have to say. Thank you, SUJATA.
You're welcome. Janet.
Just much like what Coach Les, when he coaches, he there is a lot of coaching in the workplace. When you have managers or directors that are leaders, you are continually coaching. So you're enrolling the staff in order to be coached. And much like like what Coach Les does is you have to enroll them. And whatever you teach them or whatever you coach them through is to inspire them, to teach them, to motivate them. It's all about, a lot of it is about behavior management. Not all of it, but a lot of the coaching in the workplace is that. So that's where the enrollment, that's what enrollment, what I get in my workplace and what I do when I coach staff. You very much have to invite them in, and they have to be acceptable. There's got to be this respect. When you see them show, or you see them actually enroll, you can see the impact you have on them. I've had the opportunity to witness Coach Les's transformation of individuals through his coaching, being a student of his coach, being him being my coach. So I'm acquiring that ability to do that, and I'm approaching it such a better way that I'm having more impact on individuals. That enrollment part is important. It's about this respect. It's about trust. In my case, with what I had today, my experience today is I had the ability to develop confidence of my staff today, confidence in themselves and what they do. And to see that, because of what I've learned through Coach Les, it's impactful. And I notice it. It's so noticeable. I see it, and I see these progressions, and I see how it works now. I wish I had learned these techniques so much sooner. It would have made a big difference. And when you see the people inspired, when you see them change, and you see their eyes light up all through this process of enrollment, this respect, this, and it just, you know, you're on the right path, and you know you're making a difference. So thank you for letting me share.
Thank you so much, Jeanette. I appreciate the accolades. You know, it's one of those things for me where this is the place where, you know, enrollment, another thing about enrollment is being so in the other person's world that when you share something, they have the experience of understanding what it is you're sharing, being aligned with it, getting a sense of what it is that you're sharing, and then going, yes, I want that. And then when me as the coach, as I'm sharing it, I then say, I see that excites you. I see that gets you enlivened and lit up, and you want this in your life. And they say yes. And they go, how do I do that? And in that moment, when they say that and they ask that question, they are enrolled. And the only thing left to do at that moment is to find out and start creating with them what it is to distinguish where they're at and what has stopped them in their life from having the most extraordinary life possible. And once you've got them enrolled, once they're in that space of enrollment, registration is really simple. And in that registration, there is now literally a moving mass, i.e., that person is now moving towards what it is that they're looking for. And they see the opportunity in what you've shared with them to find an avenue towards that. And that's the place where it gets really, really exciting. And, you know, one of the things that I'd love to kind of now play with and toss up into the conversation and maybe hear, I see Selena's on the phone, but I think I'm going to challenge my partner here and say, you at some point, Sujata, I think, is there somebody that you can see in your life that you wanted them to see the possibility that you saw in something, in achieving something, in doing something, and in that you went, okay, I've got to enroll this person, family member, friend, and you went through a series of conversations to have them get enrolled. And without it being distinguished as enrollment at that point, you went through some steps and stages and interesting questions to have them say yes. And I'd love to hear your share on this And I'm going to ask you, Sujata, if you would switch over to your mobile phone. And I'm going to take us offline so that I could switch to the mobile phone and to Clubhouse only. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. And Sujata, you will need to unmute yourself on Clubhouse. If you're speaking, I don't think we can hear you.
Yeah. I think you need to close StreamYard.
Yep.
Okay, so here is my perspective.
Hold on. I'm sorry about this. Sujata, just go ahead and disconnect from StreamYard and you'll be fine. There you go. And for those of you listening online, we're going to end the broadcast now. Thank you so much for participating.